wherever you're watching us. Welcome to the He for She Talk under the Red Primary from the Yes Girls Movement in Ghana, where we are having honest conversations about menstrual health and the roles boys and men can play in creating a more supportive and stigma-free world. So menstruation is a normal part of life, and for millions of girls and women, yet many are still experiencing shame, the silence, the stigma, and lack of support. So today we are changing that narrative. You're with me, your moderator, Kate Benami, and I'd love to introduce my panel. I'm excited to introduce the amazing guests joining us today for our conversation. So we have male classmates representing the voice of classmates in schools. Please welcome Obed. And then we have the son, representing sons and important role support can begin at home. Welcome, Roland. And we have brother, representing brothers, someone who can either contribute to stigma or become a strong support system. Please welcome Anathan. And we have father, representing fathers and the important role they play in creating safe and supportive environments for girls. Please welcome Billy. And then we have husbands, representing husbands in partnership in menstrual health support. Please welcome Prince. And lastly, we have a male friend, representing male friendships around. Please welcome Michael. So thank you all for being here and for willing to be a part of this conversation. So when we begin, we'll start with the father, where for every girl we start with our lives at home. Menstruation is talked about at home, and how we talk about it at home can either shape or destroy us. So when you come to the father, do you ever have conversation about menstruation with your daughters?
Yeah, with the eldest. I have 3 daughters. So the eldest, it was casual at the beginning. Since I realized the body was changing, and there was a time I told her it will get to a time, these are some of the things you are going to experience, menstruation. So I drew her attention. By then the mother was not around. I drew her attention to it. So we had a casual conversation before she started experience.
That's very amazing and motivating to hear that from your father. So how can fathers help break stereotypes and cultural taboos around menstruation and studying in their own homes?
Yeah, menstruation is part of life cycle. As a female is bound to experience it once you've reached a certain age in life. So it will be very easy for them if a father will put the family together and then talk about some of these things, introduce them to what they will experience when they get to that stage. So I think it's something that the father should do.
Yes, I like the part where you say menstruation is really an important aspect in a girl's life cycle, right? So now, from the support that we get at home, we also look into the siblings that we have, because sometimes brothers become our protectors, our safe space, and even emergency helpers. So let's hear it from the brothers. Can you share a moment with us or a scenario where you had to support your sister during a period-related issue?
Alright, so I remember one time, I only have one sister who's in husband. So one time I visited them at home and I realized that okay, it was that time of the month. And she was shy to talk about it, she was shy to mention it. And there were chores for her to do. So what I did was that I did those chores for her and also got her some products that I know the product that she used because we're very close, we talk a lot. So around me she is very casual and we talk openly about things. So I know the products that she uses. So I was able to get those products for her and so that she can also take care of herself very well because it's a very crucial aspect of a girl's life where hygiene comes in, mental stability comes in and all other things. And I learned a technique, a massaging technique which helps ease the pain. And I applied that for her as well and she was great.
That's very amazing and supportive to hear from you, because most people, even in our own families, find it difficult to open up to their siblings, especially of a different gender, right? So now we're very happy to hear that this is how you support your sister. So how can you advise other brothers out there who fail to support their siblings when they're amongst this and the taboos that are out there? How can you best advise them?
Okay, so just like the father said, the menstrual, cycle is an important part of a girl's life. So I have friends who think that when their sisters are going through that cycle, they shouldn't even touch their things, they shouldn't cook for them, they shouldn't do anything. No, that is not true. When you catch yourself, you see that when they're also going through that, you're so it's nothing different from what we normally see. We should rather support them and draw them closer, because if you don't give them the support they need now, they will go and get the support somewhere, which can also be very dangerous.
I like that fact that if we don't support our sisters now, they will get it elsewhere, which is most dangerous, and that's an emerging issue even here in Africa as well. So as we, of course, the support at home also includes our sons and how boys grow up understanding menstruation. So we need to understand this aspect as well. So let's hear from your side. So growing up, did you ever find yourself supporting your mother on menstruation-related issues?
I would say, yeah, some of them, or sometimes, my mom will be there, or at some days, they call me Kabna. I'm not feeling good, this was going on. But she will not tell me the specific reason, or maybe some of the months. But some of the things that she will be doing, I will know that, oh, maybe one or two things happening to her that she can't express it to me. So maybe go and buy me this sanitary pad, go and buy me this. Then I will know that, oh, my mom is either bleeding or something. So that's a little help that I give to her whenever she's in that area.
Interesting to hear from a mother opening up to their son, right? So now, how do you think we can normalize these conversations at home? Because most African countries, we find it, I would say, weird for mothers to open up to their sons to talk about this kind of issues. So how do you think we can normalize it?
Just as we have, how should I say, sex education at home, it's also supposed to be part, because maybe the mother won't keep it with the boys, they might be girls as well. So you have to educate both of them on how, when issues or such come, we are going to help out.
So this is amazing to hear from the son's side. So now let's move from home to another important environment where many girls experience stigma, and this is most of the time for the very first time, because originally we get this kind of love from home, but now the other environments, how do we interact with these people? So now let's move on to the male class. How can students, or how can male students help create a more supportive and stigma-free school environment for girls?
Okay, so first of all, I think they need to understand what is happening. And then I think back in the days, when we were in school, we had these NGOs coming in and then giving health talks and other stuff. Here is the case when they come in, they just separate the male students from the female students, and then when it's about menstrual hygiene, they end up teaching only the girls and leave out the boys. But we are all in the same we are all in the same classroom. So anything that happens in that classroom. So if the girl is going through something and the male student sees it and he doesn't have any idea about it, definitely he's not going to know how to react to it. But if they come and educate all of us at the same time, we are all on the same page on this kind of things. Definitely when I see someone going through something like that, I'm going to respect the person's, I'm going to respect how the person is feeling, and then maybe feel some empathy. Because if you try to put yourself in a person's shoe, you're going to know that, okay, this is what the person is going through. So you're not going to say things that are going to hurt her or bring her spirit down. Because trust me, some of these things, when you tell them, it breaks down their spirit, and then they can't even go out. And then if they are even supposed to seek for help from somewhere, they feel shy or reluctant to do that because they have it at the back of their mind that, okay, this person said this, so should I even approach the next person? What's the next person going to see? So I think, yeah, there should be education into this and not just the feeling.
So that's very, very exciting news, because menstrual education really has to go both sides. It's not a matter of educating the girls we have to do, but if we are claiming for support from the male side as well, we need to educate in both aspects in that so that we know how we can go about it. So I'll just ask a scenario of how you feel like you could have done if you were in this kind of a position. So let's say you're in your classroom and you saw a female friend who had accidentally soiled on her uniform. How would you approach this? Let's say you're back in the days, you're still a student and you had no idea about this.
So, first of all, even from home, me personally, from home, my mother never spoke about menstruation or menstrual hygiene with me. And then I have a little sister. Trust me, I don't really know when she really started menstruating. So I have no idea about these kind of things. So I go to like the latter part of my JHS. So should I experience something like this in school? Possibly, I'm going to freak out and think maybe she has a cat or something. Sure, is not going to be the first thing to come in mind. So, well, I'll just, I'll just draw her attention that maybe you have bleeding first. And then, when it comes to that, I'm sure she's also going to like panic or something. So if I approach you, that's when I'm going cool with you. Because, even in the classroom, you are not cool with everyone. So if I'm cool with you, I'll just approach you like very nicely and then not draw other people's attention to it. And then tell you that this is what's going on. So if you also don't have any idea about what's happening to you, then we look for the nearest female teacher who we can trust to help you. Take off.
Interesting hearing from the male classmate perspective, right? So outside of school and home, friendship also matter. Like sometimes friends are the people girls turn out to first, in as much as we are at school, in as much as we're at home, or even at church. We look into our male friends as well. So let's go to the male friends. So what does being a supportive male friend look like when it comes to menstruation?
So I think being a supportive male friend, it's going beyond just knowing about the person's the state of menstruation or menstrual hygiene to being involved and being supportive. So I think some of the ways we can go about this is first normalizing conversations around menstrual and menstrual health, because if you have a friend, a lady friend, and the person is not able to open up to you, or conversations around menstruation sounds very foreign, then it's going to be difficult when it gets to that point, because then they are unable to relate well, and I think it might cause a hitch in the friendship. So I think first off is normalizing conversations around discussing everything about menstruation and also trying to be supportive. So, for instance, if you are in the same space at a time where it happens and you have like a jacket on you as a guy, you can just like maybe take it off and then give it to her to like tie it around her. And maybe if you are able to get support in terms of getting menstrual pads or something that she's going to change, so in the process of transitioning, you can accompany her or be behind her and guide her to go and change, right? I think just being like a shield for her and also supporting her in many ways, that is how we can change it.
Yeah, that's really important, like normalizing the whole topic about menstruation and period. Even when we talk about cramping, it gets too much sometimes, like as a male friend, you feel like maybe you even feel like you're exaggerating, but most of the times if we normalize this kind of conversations around us, we get to know and understand better, right? So what message would you give to boys who like think periods are still a joke or something that is just to be taken as, maybe you're always exaggerating, like what kind of a message would you give to those kids?
Alright. So one thing I can say to all males is that we should understand that that is part of their life as being women and females. So we have to accept and embrace it and try to be supportive act as much as possible and not to make jokes out of it. So sometimes it comes with emotional changes and a whole lot of factors. So we shouldn't make certain jokes about what is happening, but try to be empathetic and understand what is happening. And also, males should be advocates of menstrual hygiene, even in spaces where the female is absent. So, for instance, if they are just boys in a room and you're talking, you should try to educate them so that they can also spread the message, and then it gradually changes the situation.
Yeah, this is very serious. Like, men really need to be strong advocates of the same, even in the absence of a female figure. Right? So now, moving on, support does not only end in friendship, it also continues to other in relationships. So now let's hear now about support in relationships and marriage. Now, as a husband, how has being married changed your understanding of menstruation?
So, before you even get into marriage, as you are courting, young guys, courting a baby becomes another lesson for us to learn about education. Because when you are not sure or ready to give birth, you start learning about menstrual cycle of your partner. Because always you are afraid that you come and tell you it didn't come. So you are always on the lesson, reading and understanding when it will come, when the free periods are. So that leads into marriage. And in the marriage process or in the period of being in the marital home, it comes. And most times, if it doesn't come and you are expecting, that's where your joy comes. Because you are going to be birth. But when it comes and you are expecting that the baby should come, and it keep coming, you become worried. Sometimes too, when baby is having this, to make sure the house is right. So these all the things that you should learn from menstrual periods, and it's affected pains and other things, so that you can help your partner during this period.
So I want to focus much on how best you can support your partner, either emotionally or a practical support that you can give to your wife during this period. Like I've even emphasized on maybe mood swings. Some people it might act like maybe it's too much for them, or because we react to these sensitively. Some girls will even shut down to the point where they wouldn't even want to talk to their own husband. Right? So when you talk about this emotional support, how exactly do you think as husbands be there?
Yeah, so the emotional support comes in where you give your support in the house chores. Also, even getting the sanitary pads available in the house is also part of it. Because if in that moment it comes and maybe you are staying at a place where you don't get it at hand, you need to get it for her. Even if it's not that time of the moment, it should be there. But she tries to assure that in the moment that it comes, then it's there to support her. And also the activities in the house chores, also how you even talk to her. You should know how to talk to her in that period. Because as you are saying, it could be that she might even shout on you. But you should be tolerant enough that, oh, this is my woman, this time, yeah, this thing we don't do, this thing we do. So that would be very supportive for her emotionally to go through that moment. And after all, you know that sometimes somebody outside may think, oh, this is just any other thing or any other days for the person, but it's not any other days. It's a very critical period for David. So you should come close to her, give her that support.
I I think many people who are watching us right now can relate to this, and I just want to ask you one last question. I'll focus much on the husband's part because that's also a very much crucial segment of the time, right? So when it comes to empathy, what does empathy look like in relationships, especially during menstruation? Is it just you as a man feeling pity that the person is in pain, or it just comes because I don't know, again, are connected in one body, one soul, that type of thing?
No, it's not just a pain. Because sometimes even you can be doing or in a kitchen, how the knife cuts, you can play it, the pain that you go through. Somebody who is discharging blood, it's not easy. Because we know when you are losing blood, you become weak. So that period, even the kind of food that should be available for the person to eat also counts. Also, the sanitary aspect of it, where the discharges will be exposed to, is also part of it. So if the person doesn't get a good hygienic water, even water, to use during that period, this also comes into another health issues, related issues. So in the home, this thing has to be a considerable part of managing or finding empathy for pains going through all this, because you might not feel it, but how the person, if you don't try to put yourself in, you don't understand it. So we always try, as we are all saying, when we get this education from our childhood, to the school, to our private lives, these are all the training that we can get so that we understand the woman when it's in that period.
So this is very important, and we are emphasizing on the part of menstrual education, starting from when boys are at a younger age. So I think from now on, even on the girls' side, and even those that are advocating for such issues, we will know how to take up on these matters, because we need to include boys in menstrual education. Menstrual education for all, if we are creating a period, a friendly, a world of period friendly, right? So everyone is going to enjoy it. So before we wrap up, I just want to do a quick round response. So I just want to hear one sentence from all of you, like one word that can describe support to you, one thing they should learn about periods, and just one message to all of the girls and watching us right now.
So I would say it's not just any period that we know is period. It's a period for support, like showing support for a girl, a woman, a wife.
The other speaking example. So just one word that describes support, or one thing men should learn about periods now, and one message to the girls watching us right now.
Alright, what I would say is, as we all know, it's part of our life. And also, one key thing that I want, especially the boys and the girls both, should know that despite that this sometimes happen within it's a cycle, within 28 days, emotion, happiness can trigger it to come at any time. So, if the period is not reached by the person they experience it, so we should be ready. When you see that mood swing, be ready to support. You don't know what is happening.
Okay, so from the perspective of the brother, what I would say is that it's not a time to stigmatize. It's a time to draw them closer. Because when you tell, I remember one time I visited my mom and she asked me to do something. I was like, why can't my sister do it? Well, I mean, I'm the oldest, she's the youngest, she's supposed to do it. And I was like, I can't tell her I can't tell you her problem, I can't tell you what she doing. Then I realized, okay, something is really going on. And then it's not the time to shun them. No, there is this taboo that when they are flowing, they shouldn't touch. We don't. I mean, it's something that happens in African homes, not even in African homes. It happens among us males. But this is the time that we draw them closer. We don't stigmatize them because, as I said earlier, if you don't give them the support now, they will get that support elsewhere.
So I also believe it's our time girls before boys and whatever is happening when it comes to their menstrual cycle. Because sometimes you end up going to get some, let's say, sanitary pads or maybe anti-liners to help these same girls, and then you end up going to shops that have female shop attendants. They will ask you, what are you going to use it for?
Yeah.
Knowing perfectly well that you are not the one who's going to use it, and they will end up questioning you. So if such things continue happening, boys are not even going to have that air to help other girls when it comes to situations like that. So I believe if girls accept and then know that we are all involved in this, it is going to create a good and a better atmosphere for all of us to be in this way, and then we are not going to have issues concerning these kind of things.
I believe that since we are all in the same family, I don't think there's any need for them to hide whenever their period or their time comes for menstruation. They shouldn't hide it from us. They should just let us know, oh, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm going through in this particular week, or this is what I'm going through, so that we will know how we are going to help them. But if you keep it from us, you might not know, we are not going to you can't just be in your imagination that, oh, my sister is suffering or my mother is suffering because of this. You have to open it to us so that we can help.
So my last words would be that we should see supporting women or females with menstrual education and menstrual hygiene, not as saving them, but rather supporting them to remove the social barriers that make that period feel like a stressful period. That is rather part of their biological system. So we should not see supporting them as saving them because they are women or they are weak, but rather making their biological, the natural thing very easy to go along with. Yeah.
So it has been a really interesting session. So today's discussion reminded us that menstrual health is not only a girl's issue, but it's everyone's responsibility, starting from the household to the school to our communities. So when we look into the household, we are focusing on the sons, the husbands. How are we relating with them in the system of the man? How do we open up as girls in the system of the man? And support starts with understanding, kindness. And like our male friends say, it's not about feeling pity for them or just doing it to save them because this is the time when we are the weakest, but it's just understanding that it's part of our biological life and it's a process that will continue for up until it stops the menopause level. So to every boy and man watching, your support really matters, and to every young girl and young woman watching, you deserve dignity, care, and support. And with this, I think we will learn to open up more, to talk about these issues freely, to take care of ourselves, because like our son said, if we cannot get it from a household, we will get the help elsewhere, which also affects us on a daily as girls. So thank you so much for joining us for the He for She Talk. Let's continue to build a more friendly world. Bye-bye.